Hey, I'm so glad you're here. You clicked on this. It means you want to know a little bit more about your 10-day house hunting leave that you get and the 10-day temporary lodging opportunity that you have when you get your PCS orders. Laura Gallant here with Mountain Prairie Living, your Colorado Springs realtor, here with Elena Flannery. She is my professional real estate assistant and she works with me in my business. And we decided to do a series of videos to really help you if you're PCSing anywhere, but specifically to Colorado Springs, because that's where we are. We're in Colorado Springs. So Elena Flannery is a military spouse and she's made several military moves. So I'm so smart. I hired someone who knows about the military side since I work with a lot of military PCS. And in today's video, we're going to talk about some opportunities and ways to utilize the 10-day house hunting opportunity that you have and the 10-day temporary lodging, how it can be used and what things she might recommend to you. So, hi, Elena, welcome. Tell them a little bit about who you are and some of the moves that you've made.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been a military spouse for 12 years. We've moved 7 times total. So we've gone from California to Colorado, bounced around Colorado at different bases throughout the state. We went back to California, then we went to Washington, D.C., and now we're back here in Colorado. So we've been all across the board. One of our moves, we did move March 2020, right when everything shut down. We were driving our family of 4 across country during the shutdown. So that was exciting. Um, yeah, but we are happy to be back here. This is what I like to call our final resting place. This is our home now. We decided to buy and just plant some roots finally, which feels really amazing after all these moves.
And I am so grateful you're here.
Yes, I'm so happy to be here.
So like the other videos, I'm going to ask Elena a few questions, and our hope is that this information assists you and supports you. And of course, if you'd like to know more information, then just feel free to reach out to me. My contact information will be below in the description box. I am always so grateful for you. And I know the sacrifice it takes to make these moves. It's so challenging. So my role as a real estate professional to either help you with rentals or purchases is to help make that go as smoothly as possible and be the person over here, your eyes and ears, and to offer you information about our current market. And so it's really important that you reach out as soon as possible and kind of set up for that 10-day house hunting tour, or consider that I can do some video tours for you and you could perhaps buy a house sight unseen. I've done it before many times, and we'll talk a little bit about that as she goes through some of her questions. So let me start with the questions, Elena. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. How do you think someone could best utilize their 10-day house hunting tour? What are some things that they should do with that time, or what should they prep before that 10-day house hunting tour or house hunting opportunity?
Yeah, I think it's really important to take the time, if you can, on the front end, especially if you're going to a new place. What some people may not know is that you are able to use that 10-day house hunting after you arrive here. So you don't necessarily have to use it before the move. I think if you're going to a new area, it would be wise, if you can, to take the time. But it's important to make sure that you schedule as many showings or walkthroughs as possible while you are physically here. And that can be a little bit challenging. So working with a realtor would be really advantageous. Also juggling, your spouse's work schedule, your kids' schedules, trying to plan these things, because sometimes when you PCS, it's in the middle of the school year. So it might be hard to take that 10 days, or maybe only one of you can go. And that's kind of difficult too. And I think, like I said before, having that realtor, that extra support is really advantageous because they can help you through so much of it and help to make those decisions that are going to be best for your family, because realtors are always working for the best interest of their clients.
Absolutely. In fact, I've done a military move last year with one spouse. Well, I videoed for the other spouse. So I would FaceTime if my Wi-Fi or my cellular would allow me, because sometimes when I go in the basement, it didn't. But I always videotaped it so that the other spouse would get that video tour, so that when the spouse that actually saw it went back, they could have a good discussion with that video tour. And I think that's an important piece. And that was just coming from an understanding of that challenge that Elena is speaking to. It is very difficult. I also have one that is using the 10 days, as Elena is saying. They're going to get here first, and then they're going to look. They're actually taking some of their vacation time too, to offer a little bit more time to do that house hunting once they get here. But no matter what, I think it's really important to reach out and get a feel for the market. Ask the realtor to send you the statistics on the market. How many homes are there? Is it low inventory? In February of 2022 or 2023, we were less than 2 months of inventory. And this morning on the market for single family residences that were not manufactured or mobile homes, there were 613 listings total for all of El Paso County. So it's definitely a tight market, and getting that jump on it and that preparation is really important. But that is the advantage of working with a realtor. I will do those things that are different than just your spouse going through a house and the other spouse not being able to see it. So let me ask the next one. Did you prepare ahead of time for this leave, and why is that important?
For us on this most recent PCS, we did not really need to prepare for it just because we've been here before. We knew exactly what neighborhood we wanted to be in, where we were going. So for us, it was probably one of the smoothest PCSs. But in the past with other ones, we absolutely do prepare for it. We've always taken the 10-day house hunting leave at the end of it. So once we've gotten here to find where we wanted to go, or a lot of times we start so soon and start so early that we already have something lined up and we don't even need to take it.
Well, and one of the things Elena did this time is she bought a new build. So she knew, she'd already seen the house, she saw the floor plans, and it was being built. There was a little bit of a transition though, because it wasn't quite built on time because the builder didn't have it fully ready. So there's a little hiccup there, which wasn't fun, but you were able to get through it. Things like that happen. And it's just being prepared, I think, and being ready to adjust with what you need to, but using your resources too.
Yeah.
So, do you think it's wise to reach out? Well, I kind of already answered that one. How do you think it's best to use the temporary lodging, the 10-day temporary lodging? Are Airbnbs acceptable, or what types of housing or temporary lodging would you suggest for those 10 days?
Right. So you are allotted 10 days of temporary lodging. So, and that would be on base. So my tip is to schedule it as soon as possible, especially during PCS season. It can be very busy. And temporary lodging, so you'll have different options here in Colorado Springs because we do have so many military installations. There's more than one base that you would be able to stay at. And once you have that reservation, you can have the 10 days. I would highly recommend doing it as soon as possible because for us, we were only able to get a couple of those days in a 2-bedroom room with a family of 4. So then we had to move after the 3 days. We had to move to a 1-bedroom with a family of 4 for the remaining 7 days. So we were moving rooms on base because they didn't have enough availability for the full 10 days. So that can be a challenge. And had we, it's not that we didn't prepare, it's that, like you mentioned, our builder pushed out our closing and it was so crazy. We ended up having to use an Airbnb. So if there's no availability on base for your reservation time, you are able to go somewhere else off base and you'll be reimbursed up to the government nightly rate.
How do there's paperwork that they would need to fill out. Who would they ask to get that paperwork if it's their first time doing this?
Yeah, so you could, luckily I never have to handle this. My husband always takes care of it for me. But you can go to the lodging facility there and they would be able to give you that non-availability letter. And once you have that, you can make a reservation wherever you would like off base. And then essentially you would just submit to be reimbursed for it.
I would predict that that's probably what happens here. I'm a volunteer realtor on Fort Carson Post and Schriever Space Force Base. And I know at Fort Carson in January and in February, they were already didn't have enough rooms, and so they were having to issue that letter so they could go out and find
Mhm.
stuff. PCS season is somewhat of a season, but there are some people that do get PCS orders throughout the
Mhm.
year. So there's definitely moves, and we have 5 military installations here. We have 2 Space Force installations. We have the Mountain Post of Fort Carson. We have the North American Space Command
Mhm.
at Cheyenne Mountain, and we have the U.S. Air Force Academy. So there's a lot of people coming in and out military wise, and we have Buckley just about an hour down the road.
Mhm.
So we have a large military presence here. So it is important to start ahead. It is important to take advantage of these opportunities because they're there for you, and to utilize the resources like a realtor to assist you in understanding the market that you're moving to, neighborhood information, school information. I have a list of helpful links that I could absolutely email to you. In fact, I'll put a link to it below, maybe a QR code in there for you to grab that if you'd like some of the helpful links to school districts, to crime rates, to neighborhoods, to trail maps, because it's an amazing busy city here. So if you want that, then definitely check out the description box below. But what are your best tips for using these opportunities overall, these 10 days?
I would say to start as soon as possible. As soon as you know what your RNLTD, your report no later than date is, I would get your reservation scheduled and start to plan out. I mean, there's a timeline, a sequence of events with any PCS move. And depending, I mean, we've had months to prepare and we've had weeks to prepare. So it can be really quick. So as soon as possible, I would get that on the schedule, and you can always adjust the reservation if you need to, but at least you have something. And another cool thing, just like with the 10-day house hunting, you are able to use the 10-day temporary lodging either at the front end or the back end of your move. You could pick and choose how you want. You could do 3 days here and 7 days when you arrive at your location. So the flexibility is there. And yeah, I would say just get on it as soon as possible, especially like you've been mentioning, coming into PCS season. It's busy. And this is a very booming community here in Colorado Springs. So the market, I feel like, has always been hot and quick. So the quicker you can be on any type of wait list or getting those reservations in, the better.
Absolutely. I agree. Well, thanks so much for answering these
Yeah, of
questions.
course,
So
my
we
pleasure.
hope this video helped you with finding out, like, how do I best use these resources that I'm given? It becomes a stressful time when you get your PCS orders, whether you have kids or not. You still got to find housing. You've got to find that stable place to be so that you can report and do the work that the military asks you to do. Reach out to your resources. We are so happy to be able to help you. And I'm so glad to have Elena on my team because she offers some great resources. But if you'd like more information about PCS moves, then just reach out to me. My contact information is below, and I'm so glad you're here. If you'd like to know some of the great reasons why people love to PCS here, then check out this video after this one. That you'll just love it. So I'm so glad you're here. Stay tuned for the series. Subscribe to the channel. Share it with a friend if you know that they're PCSing here. We're going to continue this series with a few more videos, and if you'd like to check out the ones we've done before, they should be just linked in my playlist below. And we're so glad you're here. Thanks so much, Elena. I'm so glad you were
Thank you
here and
so
took the
much.
time with me. And I will see you on the next video. Have a great
All right,
day.
sounds good.